Hey, we've been talking about this Mariner team, obviously. 8 series wins in a row. And it's amazing, Ryan, to consider they've done it without George Kirby, without Logan Gilbert, without Victor Robles and Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss and Luke Raley. And, I mean, it's just one after another after another. It's just, what do you make of what you're seeing there? Because I went through all these numbers last night looking at the offense. This is a top 10 offense outside of batting average. Outside of batting average, they're a top 10 in every category you can think of. And then you look at the pitching, same thing, going through each and every category, going, they kind of rank middle of the pack to lower in every category. And it makes sense. You're without Kirby and Gilbert, and you've got, Hancock and Logan Evans in there. But it's amazing despite all of that. They've won 8 series in a row. Right, and they're not even close to hitting their stride rotation-wise. Not even close. Right.
Especially, too, look, we talk all the time about innings per start. I look at that. That's a big one for me because that's how this team, in regards to the pitching, that's what they're built on, is getting deep with one or two runs, and that's how you're going to have to survive because you're not going to get a whole lot of offense. Well, they were around 5 innings per start, right? Bryce Miller, who I think you mentioned right before I came on, still looking for a quality start.
Right.
So you look at that. You've got Gilbert. You've got Kirby missing. You've got Bryce Miller. You've got Luis Castillo, who's really very close to sort of hitting that Luis Castillo level. So they're doing it without their pitching. So it's pretty wild. But they're projected to be like just under 100 wins or something right now. They had a really good month of April. The injuries do concern me a little bit because when you do look up and down the lineup, it's a little top heavy besides the good at bats down the bottom. In regards to production, that's for sure. But they're playing really good baseball, and I hate to sound super cliche, but there's no other way to put it. They're just little things, man. There's a 3-2 count where you're putting a guy on the ropes. Rivas did this yesterday to DeGrom. Then you get a pitch middle, and then you do something with it. At this point last year, and as we got into May and into June, you get a 3-2 count, put someone on the ropes, and it's a swing and miss at a fastball 95 in the middle of the plate. And so that's the difference. And then on the bases, they're running the bases way smarter, and they're taking extra bases like crazy. I was about to dive in and look at how many extra bases they've taken because that's another thing. They didn't do that last year. They were just station to station. A couple guys were running. A couple guys were questioning if Julio was going to shut it down. Base running, that's how sort of limited they were in regards to running bases. Different story this year. So they're doing those little things, enough offense to carry until that pitching gets into a good rhythm.
We were just talking about Donnie Barrels, and what do you make of it? What do you make of it, Ryan? Look, he's you look at his batting average last year, it's cut in half this year. And, Bob was kind of making I think you made the comment, like, when he's out there, you're like, why?
Yeah.
Because why? But is it just? Yeah. But look, I mean, at some point he's got to. You would think, unless this is the end for him, but I mean, he's getting to the point where, I mean, like I said, half of what it was last year. Maybe this is just it for him, or do you expect to see what have you seen anything you liked?
Well, man, from what we sort of knew about, Donovan Solano. For those who don't know who Donnie Barrels is, coming into this season, it was like, good bat to ball, good contact guy, professional. Was he 37 years old? Yeah. Good clubhouse guy. Yet to be seen. Very yet to be seen. And this is not something where it's like, oh, hey, look, I thought I was coming in here to play every day. It would be the super utility. He knew exactly, what the situation was. So. Not saying that's what he's saying, but that's kind of, I'm looking at it thinking, well, let's say the team was 100% healthy especially with Raley, who can, by the way, transition from infield to outfield. Obviously with Dylan Moore, who can transition to anywhere in the field. And then you've got Miles Mastrobuoni, who's shown some plus moments, even on the left side of the infield, not just playing second base. You're looking at all that going, well, hold on, where does this kind of fit in? Now, he has to play because of some of the injuries and whatnot. But just from a place from going from 2024 to 2025, the things he did well in 2024, he made good contact. The chase was down. didn't swing and miss, all these things that you look at and go, wow, hey, after 2024, even after 2023, let's bring these guys in. Let's fill up the lineup with guys who, what I talked about earlier, 3-2 count, do something. We're just not seeing that with him at all. Whether that's something where it's because of the lack of game time to kick it off, or 37, or he didn't have a really productive offseason, whatever it is. We're just not seeing it. And so it's going to be a tough choice to make once you do get all the health back. Because, man, you've got some guys who, look, Ben Williamson, we didn't anticipate that he would be such an impact, and now he's the everyday third baseman. Leo Rivas, we didn't anticipate the impact he's made, and he's been a pest down the bottom of the lineup. That's a huge impact. Miles Mastrobuoni, I'll throw him in there even. I'm talking about some of the healthy players. Then you've got guys who are coming back. So it's going to be a tough decision to make, because I'm not keeping Solano on a roster just because I can option someone down. You just can't afford to. The offense is carrying this team right now, and you got to keep up with the guys who are doing some good things offensively.
You know, one of the categories I was looking at, Ryan, is walks. They are number one in Major League Baseball in walks.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see even guys who you look at like, I brought up Randy Arozarena. You look at his average, he's hitting 224. You're like, that's not great. He's had some huge moments, certainly. He's got a 366 on base, leads the team in walks with 22 walks. So, but as a team, I mean, Cal's got 20, JP's got 20, Julio's got 16. I mean, we're seeing a lot less of the expansion of the strike zone that we saw last year. A lot of the chase is gone. I think they're ranked 18th in strikeouts. They were top 2 or 3 the past 2 years throughout the entire season. So is that the biggest impact that you see from Seitzer and Edgar, is just the patience up there and making that pitcher work? What do you see that's leading to this?
Yeah, I think, first of all, you don't want a situation where if you have a young player, and say I'm using Ben Williamson here, or even I'll throw Rivas in there as well, who come into the fold and say, look, this is a one-size-fits-all. This is how we want you to hit. The thing that I think that Edgar and look, Kevin Seitzer, man, I know we love talking about Edgar. We don't give Kevin Seitzer enough love, surely. I mean, I know you guys do, because you guys are awesome, and you give credit to the right people. I get it. But overall, man, and again, nothing against Edgar, but Kevin Seitzer, there's a reason he was with the Braves for a decade, and they had some offensive juggernauts as a team in those years. And there's a reason why when you watch him interact with players, understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are, there's a buy-in from it. Now, in regards to the dominating the zone, the Mariners obviously on the pitching side, but also on the hitting side. Well, again, all right, good pitch selection, recognition, and all those things. That's great. But if you are not comfortable or don't have the athleticism or whatever it is to get 97, which has got right on at the top of the fastball, what's the point? Get after it early. Now, what happens is, too, I think what happens, too, if you don't sort of fit that mold in regards to the patience, like a JP Crawford's super comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. That's just how he hits. Some guys aren't. So you roll into this going, oh, man, like my pitches per plate appearance, man, I got out quickly on 2 pitches. And because you're in the back of your mind going, I have to do something completely different. What I think that Kevin Seitzer and Edgar, and you guys, I'm sure, have talked about how good the offense has been since Edgar took over. And obviously with Kevin Seitzer this year, which is huge, man, huge for this team. I think what you find, and from what I gather, being around the team, is that put yourself in Leo Rivas' shoes, come into this team and say, look, this is what you do well. This is what we like to do. How about we take this approach? And when you identify what you do well and you can use that, the at-bats are just going to be better, because you're going to have way more feel of what pitch you're going to see. And that's, I think, the biggest difference. Look, the contact rate, when you look at some of the contact percentage, it's not that much different to what it was last year. But you mentioned the walks. Like they lead the team in walks. The at-bats, pitches per plate appearance is way up there. It's the same as last year. But there's pitch recognition happening on that 6th pitch or 7th pitch of an at-bat, and you know what you're going to see, and you're comfortable and confident knowing you can get to that pitch.
Hey, what do you make of Bret Boone, by the way?
Being how about that? Wow.
New hitting coach down, and that's how bad Texas is. They had to fire their hitting coach. And
man,
have you run into Bret Boone?
Yeah, he was on my show, The Top Step.
Yeah.
The podcast, The Top Step.
Of course.
He was on that last year. Matter of fact, I wrote him a message. I just said congrats because I was hoping he was going to write back and say, hey, you want to jump on the show and tell me all about it? How'd you get the gig? No, but I don't know him that well. I remember being in A-ball, looking up, going, oh, man, that's what that dude's big league. You know, I mean, especially on that 2001 team. I was in Z-ball back then. I was in rookie ball on field 20 at the Peoria Sports Complex, you know. So
is that parking lot?
yeah, with an iron-on Mariners jersey, whatever they gave us back in the day. But no, listen, man. Like, first of all, I got a couple things on that. I was like, well, what's his connection here with the Texas Rangers? But then I'm like, hold on a minute. They've got like 3 generations of MLB players. Like, they got connections in 30 teams. Like,
yeah.
You know, they all know someone who knows someone knows someone. Mm-hmm. What I like to, and this is going to make me sound like I'm super salty, but I don't care. I think I may have talked to you guys about seeing Buster Posey take over the Giants and hearing all the feedback from guys in that organization just saying, hey, it's just nice, man. He gets it. Now, I don't know what Bret Boone's like in the cage. No idea. I don't know what his philosophy is. Clueless. But I do love this former players. I'm going to sound old, but it doesn't matter because if you've done it, and Dave, I guarantee, you know this, man, with the coaches you've had with football, when they've done it, they can speak to you a certain way when you're in the heat of the moment, 20 seconds before you're about to get out on the on-deck circle, or in that hitters meeting, that you're just going to take it on and go, you know what, man, he's been there, he's done it, he's played at that speed. And so I do like the fact that you're starting to see more and more the pendulum swing back to seeing players get these roles, man. I can't help it. I love it. Guys who play at the highest level, there's something to be said. We've seen it with the Mariners, recently. Obviously not Scott Service played at the highest level, had a crazy good career, but seeing Edgar, take over on the hitting side. Kevin Seitzer was a stud hitter. Watching him jump in. So I don't know what his philosophy is, but you know what? I'm sure there's some wisdom there that can help these dudes out.
Hey, what was your takeaway from Matt Brash? He's back. His first appearance. He, a couple of ground ball outs, 1 hit, a strikeout. What did you see there?
Yeah, I one thing with Matt Brash pre Tommy John, pre any kind of injury, when you look at his, don't want to dive into spin or movement or anything like that. Let's talk about velocity. His velocity starts off at about 80% of his capacity, then it builds up. So he'll add about 2 or 3, usually pre-Tommy John. This time through, his velocity was down a little bit. Again, he's just first time getting back on a big league field. I had so many people text me saying, oh, yeah, it's good to see Matt Brash, but he's not throwing as hard. Like, the dude just got back, right? Like, he's up. It's unreal. And then, but you look into it, and he has a bit of a progression. It takes him a good couple outings to get that and everything else. Now, I think that, first of all, I think it's great to see him back in the bullpen. Mm-hmm. Bullpen desperately needs that kind of nastiness. I do think, though, with the time off and going 70-plus games, major league leader in appearances, how to recover in between outings, how to approach your off-season, all those things have factored into seeing a more, I think, stable Matt Brash who's going to be healthy and who can essentially, once he's 100% ready to roll, a guy who can go out and just snap off a filthy breaking ball and do it 3 days in a row, no problem whatsoever, and feel good about it. I think that's going to be the difference with Matt Brash, but really, really good to see him come back in this bullpen.
Ryan, as always, we appreciate you, man. Great stuff, and look forward to hearing you back. Are you having fun in the booth, by the way? You enjoy
I love
it?
I can't wait. I'm doing some radio, this Blue Jays series and the Yankees series, and then I'm back on the TV side when they go to San Diego. Hey, what?